Dragonic Overlord, the Rebirth deck. Well, sorry for one of my lamps are actually not, one of the lights are not functioning. But that aside, I'm going to show you my deck profile. First of all, I'll do a quick starter. Not quick starter, but a quick lineup of my entire unit. Well, this deck is mostly based on the Legend deck units, but mostly from the original Rebirth build. And first we have Lizard Soldier Fargo. Well, for Fargo, the reason I use Fargo is because it's a stable 5k booster for a starter, and whenever you have a Vanguard with an Overlord name, he's moving to a Soul, choose your Vanguard, and he retires a unit when an attack hits. That'll be for the that's for the starter. Next up, for the triggers. First up, I'm playing 4 Curses, because there are some conditions that you do not have cross right or your rear guard's lacking power, so he's actually a good staple for most Kagero decks unless you're playing full retire. I'm playing 8 criticals, also from the Legend deck build, and 4 heals. For the triggers, it's actually optional, you play stand, but since it's a Rebirth deck, you might as well play lock all units. And also managed to get these Dragonic Overlord Rebirth sleeves, which are actually kinda cool. Next up, we have the Great Ones. Great Ones are mostly essential, so here's the Tar version. Tar. Current Blast, Soul Blast after Generation Break. Plus 4,000, choose one unit plus 4,000 attack power. And whenever it attacks, check top 5 and get a grade 3 or more Flame Dragon into your hand. So after striding, if you want to use it for the cost for strides or Rebirth skill, discarding power, you can use it for deck filtering as well, which is actually good. Next, 4 Protego Dragons. Well, as you all know, Kagero are actually quite strong on counter blasts for both retiring and skill usage. So it's actually not flippant now, so it's actually quite stable compared to Rias. Rias is actually a booster. And next we have Conroe. So other than choosing your Vanguard Overlord and flipping 2 cards, you can use him to look for a specific Overlord, like Rebirth or the Break Right. Next up, we have 3 10k attackers for Overlord units. Well, there are some conditions that when you don't have a grade 2, you might want like extra power when you just write on the grade 3 and no GP1 skills. You can use him for 10k just to get rid of some annoying rear guards, which I know, like Aqua Falls. And also the latest Neo Nectar because of their bloom skills for the same name. Next up, we have the grade 2s. I'm playing 2 bars instead of 3 bars because other than having him on the field, what are the chances of him appearing as my rear guard or my Vanguard? In accordance to that, I'm playing 2 Berserk Dragons to get rid of those annoying starters or back row column units that really can fuck up your units, like some specific starters with Maelstrom and etc. Next, we'll be playing 3 Nahalims. So whenever I stride, I'll use this Nahalim to be a 16k beater, which is cool. 16k on its own. With a booster, he can go up to 23,000 attack power. With triggers, will be 28,000. That's of course when you stride. Generation Break usual. And one of the more staple cards for Overlord decks are Burnouts. Playing 4 of them ensures me of having most of my Overlord units back to my deck, with also Soul Blasting and also retiring at the same time. So other than Berserk Dragon, he's actually quite a viable option. It's just a staple option, regardless. Next, the main course. For this deck, I'm displaying 3 Rebirths. Because there are some conditions that you don't manage to get the break right in time, so you get the Rebirth, and so you gotta like increase your attack. I can also recommend Limit Break Cancellers, Enablers, whatever you call it, because that can allow you to achieve Limit Break and attack 2 times in a row of your locked Vanguard 21 and above. Next up, we'll be playing 4 Overlord Break Rights. Well, you can use him as your Vanguard because it's an Overlord, so with an Overlord deck, fighting against Aqua Force, etc., and other decks that must have rear guards, these guys are actually quite good. Better than the ordinal Counterblast 3 Overlords. And lastly, I'm playing 1 Legend. Why 1? Well, here's the deal. Imagine I have an original Break Right Overlord and I don't have a Rebirth. So I'll just Break Right, and I'll just use his Generation Break skill. So he'll be swinging at 36. Yeah, 36. By using his skill, Counterblast 1, he becomes like a grade 4, but here's the catch. Both of their skills are almost quite similar, just that Legend must discard 3, while Overlord Break Right only discards 1 after attacking rearguard. So by Break Righting on top, you gain extra grade and the wastage of 2 Counterblasts. You can actually have 436k, and this helps triggers Nahalim's attack power, help increase Nahalim's attack power as well. So instead of discarding 3, you'll be discarding 1 instead after attacking a rearguard. Last but not least, everyone's favorite, the G-Zone. I'll be playing 1 Griffin and 2 normal G-Guards, which is, since my last Lawkeeper deck profile is what I'm using. I don't encourage too much G-Guardians because how often if you get all your heal triggers into your hand in the draw phase, that's actually not a good sign, but you can play 3 just for a turnaround. Next will be 2 Novel Veilal Express. These are actually quite good for final turns. And also imagine using Tar's skill along with Conroe, you get to unflip 2 cards, and also plus 4,000 attack power. Well, that aside, here are the last strides. I know my G-Zone is less than my Lawkeepers, but the Rebirth deck is actually just for Overlord and to increase the power, just to activate Generation Break. So I don't actually prioritize on the G-Zone because most of the G-Zone units are for retiring. So using Vortex Desire attack hit, I retire a unit for each dragon type on my Vanguard circle. And by mixing Fargo's skill, I get to retire 3 instead of 2. So that's actually one of the few reasons why I use Fargo, to threaten your opponent, to guard, to waste their perfect guard, or G-Guardians in the early phase. Just because they prioritize their units like Bloom and Aqua Force and Mega Colony. Well, for Mega Colony, you don't have to worry about Rebirth since he's gonna lock all the rear guards. then you can, then because regardless whether they're rest or standing, you lock them and you unlock them, they'll be back to normal. That's why I checked with one of the shops, so I'm not that clear. And also, that's pretty much for the shot. That's pretty much for my Rebirth deck. And I want to thank that Timothy guy for commenting on my deck. I wasn't able to reply to his comment because my YouTube was having some problems. But yeah, I might do more deck profiles, and thanks for commenting. I was actually nervous since it was my first YouTube video.